And the next guest on the podcast is none other than Joel Cama KO Camilleri. Look at him go. Geez, talk about a guy who loves the bright lights, never shies away from a challenge. Cama KO Camilleri. Look at him. Always stepping up. It's good to have a team behind him. Look at him. Always looking for the KO. Look at him. Cama KO. Oh, throwing everything. All leather into it. Look. Oh, down. Another one. Cama KO, look at him. One of the hardest workers, nicest guys in Australian boxing. He'll join the podcast.
Man, much more than anyone could imagine.
As he sacrifices it all to finish the year on a high, December 17. Let's go. And the next guest on the podcast, Joel Camilleri. Joel, it's been a while, my brother. How's things, man?
Yeah, things are good, mate. Back at home in Melbourne with the family, so it's been good down here, man.
Yeah, mate. Talk to us. Big day in Australian boxing. George Ferocious Kambosos. You catch a fight or what?
Yeah, man, of course. I didn't miss it. I knew he had heart, and I knew he believed in himself, but, man, I did not expect that to happen, and I'm so proud of him, man.
Mate, honestly, the whole country is behind him. We're all proud. You know, if anyone understands the trenches, the efforts, and what he had to do, the sacrifice to be away from home for so long, it'll be yourself. Yeah. You know, you've been in the camps in America. Tell us how tough it is. And now the Australians on the map, the highest level, undisputed.
Well, it's a different life over there, man. You know what I mean? They're a different breed, but he's been going over to America for a long time. He's been over and sparred Manny Pacquiao, I'm pretty sure, in the Philippines, and, you know, about 120 rounds. And that's one thing my manager, Peter Maniata, said. When I said, "What's your thoughts on the fight?" He goes, "Joel, people are underestimating Kambosos. For him to do 120 rounds and be called back a few times to be what's called Pacquiao's sparring partner, you've got to be good."
Yeah, no, 100%, man. George is a real deal. You know, and you've had a lot to do with this junior coach who coached him throughout the ranks, Eagle.
Yeah.
So he's got a very similar style. You know, you can tell he's come out of the Costas. It's very similar if you watch Tim, Costa, George. They put it together very similar when they cut angles, how they fight in and out. You know, you see similarities there as well, or is it just me?
No, I do see it. Like when I first was told he was trained by Igor, and you know, seeing the photos on the wall in the Zoo Academy, and seeing how good he is, how smart he's in the ring, like you can see the pedigree. But you can't take away like the fight in him. He's a fighter. He's got the mental game, the mindset, like second to none. And I remember once my friend from the Zoo Academy once told me that George was doing speeches at schools and places saying he was a world champion before he turned pro. Like, he's always had that mindset, and that mindset pays off.
100%, man. And when we talk about mindset, kudos Bank Arena. Let's get back to yourself now. A lot went wrong. A lot happened, you know. A lot of people say you had the fight. Sydney judges. Talk to us about how you felt throughout the whole experience, man, because you had it tough from the get-go. Change of opponent, didn't have your coaches come over. Talk to us now in retrospect how everything played out.
Well, at the end of the day, the final line is I won that fight. You know, after the fight, I was like, you know, I was just boxing and doing what I do. And they gave him the decision. And in my head, I was so shocked because I thought I'd won the fight. And, you know what, I'm not going to say I won the fight. I'm going to go back, watch the fight a few times, make sure. Because, you know, when you're fighting, you don't know. You may have caught certain shots. He may have controlled the ring. But even people who said, "Oh, Joe, it looked like it was a close fight on TV," when they went back and watched it, they all said to me, "You won at least 5-6 of the rounds. You might give him 2 or 3, at max 3." You know, going down to Sydney, first of all, I was against the vaccine, yeah. Just because I didn't want to get forced into something. I'm not sick. I was all good. So when it got changed to Sydney, they said to me, "You need the vaccine." But if I get the vaccine now, then 3 weeks later, it's 10 days before the fight. They go, "You got to get it just in case." But you weren't there the second one. So I had the first vaccine, just sore arm, nothing wrong with me. 3 days later, I was better. Went down there, training, sparring with Tim, 5 rounds, 6 rounds, 5 rounds. Then on the Sunday, or the Monday it was, got the vaccine 10 days out. That night woke up, swollen throat. Anyone who was with me saw me the whole training camp, like after that day, Bisolven, those flushes up your nose and out the other nostril, vitamin C, Armour Force, and that, like, I was sick. But at the end of the day, man, like I knew it doesn't matter how I feel. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to beat him. I went in there. You know, the corner was, if you saw on TV, the corner was a bit of a mess as in the communication. You know, having to ask for my bucket, for my water, for different instructions being yelled out. But I'm like, you know what? Doesn't matter. I'm an experienced fighter. It can't always go perfect. I'm going to go in there and win. So I went out there, done what I had to do to win. But one judge scored it to me 6-2. The other two scored it to him. And I've got a pretty good idea why I scored it to him, which I won't kind of reveal. But that's all good, man. We move on.
Yeah, man. Look, when we look at boxing, boxing is very political. It's about who you know and what you know and relationships there, and it creates a lot of biasness. You've probably grown around it your whole career. It's nothing new to you. And,
yeah,
you know, something that is inspiring, you said you went back with your manager, Peter, and you looked at the drawing board and you were proactive with your response. It was like it didn't defy you, you know, and everyone who knows you, you know, you got to give him 3 rounds max. If you're pushing at 4, you must be blind if you're going to go past 3.
If you want to, if you want to make it a corrupt decision, give it a draw. And that's what I thought was going to be. That's why I was so amazed. I saw they gave him the first judge. I'm like, here we go. Going to give it a draw. Gave it to me. I'm like, oh. Then they gave it like 77, 75 the last scorecard. I'm like, has to be me. Gave it to him, and I was in shock. But I've got 7 losses on my record. I've lost 4 of them. 3 of them were absolute corrupt losses, but that's the game. And, you know, like, I wasn't planning to fight Cohen. I was planning to fight Wes Kappa and Gold Coast with my team in my corner. I said after the Tim Tszyu fight, I'd never fight without my team in my corner ever again. But main event, COVID times, if I didn't fight that fight, when was my next fight? I went down there and I fought Cohen. And I had true belief that I just beat him convincingly, which was a close fight. It wasn't a convincing, like, crazy win, you know what I mean? But I won the fight, and but it doesn't say that on my record.
Yeah, look, it's disappointing. It's tough. Just for the viewers who don't understand things, when John Jones came to Sydney, I had access to him and I had a chat with him, spent some time with him. And I remember him telling me him and Dana White's relationship went to shits when he rejected a last-second fight. Dan Henderson, he was meant to fight Charles Sonnen. Charles Sonnen pulled out of the fight, and Dana wanted on 1 week's notice to put Dan. And John was telling me he's the type of person who studies his opponents. He does his due diligence, and he doesn't take shortcuts. And you probably now understand that more so than anyone else as to why he wouldn't take those opportunities on, because the risk and reward is 50-50, man, at best, because you're preparing for a certain style, man. When I had you on the pod, we were talking about Wes, you know, and
he was. Yeah, the thing is, going down there, Wes Kappa he's a better fighter than Cohen. He's rated good, you know what I mean? Like, beating him was going to push my ranking up. Going down and fighting Cohen after losing to Wade and like 8-2 with a terrible rating, there was always that chance of getting robbed, giving it a draw, split loss, where even if I won, I wasn't going to climb that much at all. The only benefit of that fight was being on Foxtel main event, biggest show in Australia for the year, and showcasing my sponsors. My sponsors want me to be fighting, keeping active. So, you know, after that fight, we look back and we go, disappointing, but we learn from that. First of all, never ever go down to fight without my team. Second of all, do what's right for me. I fought for the promotion. I fought to keep him happy. But in reality, I didn't need to fight Cohen. Like, he wasn't rated that good. Good fighter. He wasn't rated that good. So there was no reward for me at all in that fight.
100%, man. And a lot of people don't understand boxing. The fight game is a business as well. It's got to make sense for both parties. And unfortunately, sometimes us as people, we feel obligated to fulfill someone else's desire because there's some certain expectation. We have to perform and fulfill the duty to sell tickets. But you look at Conor McGregor, who put the UFC on the map. Now, the UFC was big before him, but nonetheless, the numbers he did, no one done before. When he lost to Nate Diaz, now I know it paid off for him earlier on. Nate was partying in Mexico, bro. He came on 10 days' notice. He had nothing to lose. And especially in the fight game, when you have nothing to lose, it's something that, yeah, it benefits you in a way. You know, you come out firing. It's like you're sparring, bro. A lot of the people, you'd know more than me, in the gym, they're freaks. When the lights come on, they run away.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. As I said, credit to for Cohen, the performance he put on, the game plan he had, and how he fought. But yeah, it's the shame. Like when I lose fair and square. I shake their hand, but I've reviewed the fight 3-4 times, and he didn't win that fight. But credit to him. But look, we got calls from managers, promoters, judges. Can't name names. The representatives of organizations. And look at this, man. After a loss, I'm now going to go fight for the WBA Oceania title. Why? They all know. You can't have one just going at 6-2 to me, 1-6-2 to him. So now I'm fighting for WBA Oceania title. Got to win that in 3 weeks. And then we'll defend it against Wes Kappa. Cohen, I was going to give him a rematch. Sorry, I was going to ask for a rematch and try to get that together just to prove the point that I'm better than him. But you know what? After what they've done to me, and he knows who they are, if he doesn't, he's pretty stupid. Then there's no point. He doesn't deserve the opportunity to fight me again. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to climb him in the rankings. Then one day later down the track, if he gets to where I don't think he'll get to, then we'll rematch after that.
Yeah, because after the fight, man, in the interviews I watched of him, he wasn't too keen on a rematch, man. He's looking more so to avenge a couple of losses that he's got on his record. And seems like he doesn't want that smoke because he kind of figured what happened.
At the end of the day, I'm a 10-round title fighter. We got that title sanctioned over 8 rounds. It's usually a 10-round fight. When they mentioned it was 10 rounds, I heard he shit himself. Oh, no, 10 rounds. I'm not fighting 10 rounds for a title. I saw in the 6th round in his eyes, he breaks. And if we were to rematch again next year, 10 rounds, title fight, I'll put another title fight on it. And if he wants to, I'll put my purse on it too.
Wow. Confidence there, man.
But those 2 judges are not going to ever judge again with my fight, man. I know who they are. And one of them especially, man, everyone knows he's incompetent. He should retire and go play lawn bowls, man, for sure.
Yeah, look, some people actually have no say to judge fights. I can't believe the sanctioning commission allowed that to happen. But we'll move away from that because your story is a positive one. I respect what you did afterwards. You went to your manager, Peter. Talk to the people because a lot of people don't understand the lows and highs of fighting. What happened after how did you swallow that pill? And what was your response straight away? Because, geez, it's unheard of in Australian boxing, the turnaround you've done.
To be honest, the first night I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep till the next day at 4 p.m. I had a 2-hour nap. After a loss, like when I lost to Tim Tszyu, I lay down, I sit down, I think to myself, you know what? Forget what everyone's saying. Can I do better? Was my best performance? Can I improve? And I thought to myself, you know what? Everyone's saying I won the fight, which isn't the point because I thought I would dominate him, but it was, I can still do good things in this sport. I'm 31 years old. I'm getting better every fight. So I spoke to Pete, I think it was like a few days after, and I go, man, I want to fight. He goes, nah, Joel, you can't go from like fighting big shows to go to a smaller show and whatever else. But I go, I want to fight. Just get me a fight anywhere. Get me a fight. So caught up with Sam LeBruno the next day in Melbourne. I go, man, can you put me on your show? Michael's ref on the card. And he goes, 100%. So after that, we locked in a 10-round fight for WBA title, and that's it, man.
Mate, let's talk about proactive getting back on the bandwagon. Then I've seen your post a bit. People were a bit disappointed, John, as a Rafa card. I don't understand that because at the end of the day, you're fighting on a big show, and that's all that matters as a fighter. No matter who the main card is, it's all about the views and the eyes and the bums on seats.
Yeah, once I put that up, they kind of woke up a bit, all the people, they're all very emotional and let the emotions get to them. They all hate Zraf. I don't know why. They hate him because of the thing he pulled out of Tim Tszyu fight and how he talks and that before the fight. But I'm just saying, man, we're all fighters. It doesn't matter if Hitler's fighting on the show. I said I'm fighting. It's about me. Nothing about who's on the card. All the best is Zraf in his fight, but I'm doing this for me. I don't care if he does whatever he does. I'm doing what I'm doing, and me and Peter are going to keep climbing the ladder till we get overseas.
No, 100%, man, and that's all it's about. It's about getting on the next big show, getting the eyes and the viewers on you because you got to showcase what you got to do and get another title to your name. Talk to us about your corner. Your corner going to be there. Everything's going to be as per normal. No changes, Joel?
Yeah. Nah, I will not do that again, man. Like, that was, man, I don't know what to say. But Dundee Kim's coming down. Frankie Pianto will be here as well. Paul Briggs can't get down right now because of I don't think he's vaccinated. But apart from that, man, I've got Dundee and Frankie in my corner, which I fought in my last few fights, apart from the last one. and I'll be in good headspace, and I'll get this win. I'm going to put on a good performance, man.
Mate, the performance indeed, man. Come the hour, come the man. You're fighting the best ranked guy in Indonesia. Talk to us about this guy. What's it to expect, man, and how's the preparation going? Because it's a quick turnaround. Talk to us about that.
Well, after the fight, it took me a few more days to get over my cold and that, man, my chest infection. So I kicked back a few days, about 3 days. Went back to the gym, a few sweat outs and that, and started sparring yesterday. So get a few spars in. I just come off an 8-round fight, you know what I mean? I was going good, you know. I was still in decent shape. So I'm just gonna do a few sparring sessions, sharpen up, back to my diet, because I put on about 6 kilograms, I reckon. Who knows, you know what I mean? But no, preparation is going good. I expect a decent fight. The guy's tough. Indonesians got tough heads, man, but I expect to stop this guy as well.
Yeah, man. And I guess every fighter believes in themselves, does their homework, and gets to the fight, and actually has to be best prepared. Talk to us about people with tough heads. You had a couple of rounds with Takashi before the Tim Tszyu fight. How was that? And
it wasn't Takashi. I sparred against he's another guy from Japan.
oh, okay. How did that go? The Japanese, it's very similar with the Indonesians. They both don't like to go down. Warrior mentality.
Yeah. Well, I sparred against, his name's Kazuto Takami. 13 wins, 12 KOs, undefeated, man. Weapon. OPBF middleweight champion, Japanese middleweight champion. He won it or defended it in a first round knockout. I organized 2 8-round spars and to finish my camp. The first one was 8 days before my fight, and after 6.5 rounds, the second sparring partner couldn't go no more. So I got 6.5 rounds, and I'm like, no, I need 8 rounds. So I sparred again 5 days out, which I probably shouldn't. Organised the sparring partner, and he messaged me in the morning saying he's back sore. So I'm like, oh, no way. I get a message saying, man, do you want to spar the Japanese guy? I'm like, bro, he's a bloody about 83 kgs, man. I'm 72 right now. Like, I can't get hurt in this spar. It's 5 days out. So went there and sparred him, and he only gave me 5 rounds. So my last 3 spars were 5, 5, 6, 5. I only sparred 2 8-round spars, but in my head, I'm like, I've done 10 rounds before. I'll be sweet. But, you know, the preparation wasn't the best, you know. If I had to go over it again and I had to do the preparation again, I would have stayed in Brisbane the whole time and flown down 3 days before, you know.
Yeah, no, looking at it in 2020, it's so much easier to look at all these flaws and things that went wrong, because when you go back to the drawing board, you got to be thorough and see what went wrong in the preparation. Something you've struggled with a while is sparring partners, man. I know you're big for it in Australia. We don't help each other and we don't give each other the rounds. Talk to us going forward. What's the plans there, man? Because it's something that needs to be addressed.
It's about being more organised. I come down to Sydney 2.5 weeks out. Everything was going good before that. Like I was getting sparring, whatever else. And moving forward, I'm just going to make sure I organise the right sparring. At least 2 spars a week, getting the rounds that I want to get in, and making sure I put myself first, which I didn't do my last fight.
Yeah, that's true, man. And I think the importance for the viewers here, and you see when, you know, life puts you down, you know, there's always a way to come back. You never give up. And at the end of the day, you look back and you reflect on all the deficiencies and flaws and you move forward. I mean, it happens in every circle in life, not just boxing.
Yeah. I just, the thing is, like, I'm not making excuses because I won the fight. You know what I mean? Like, I'm saying this because I believe I won the fight. Like, no matter what I went through, we all go through things. Colin might have been sick. You know, last time he said he had staph or some shit infection, and he done meditation this time. But the thing is, you don't know what everyone goes through. But even though I went through whatever I went through, I still was able to use my experience to win the fight. You know, so that's the main thing. And I take away from that, you know what I mean? Because if I walk into the ring next time at 80%, rather than 60, I'm going to dominate. So I really hope I eventually do fight him in the future. But at the same time, it's like, I don't need him.
Yeah, no, 100% agree, man. Especially at the level you're at, you understand and you gauge certain opponents in the gym, outside the gym. You already know if you got their number or not. What was the chat when you got back home or when you were over the phone with your coach? What was his assessment and what did he tell you going forward was something that he felt was needed?
Well, he called me up. All my Paul Briggs and Dundee Kim spoke to me after the fight, and You know, they did realize that the corner was a bit like, you know, the miscommunication in the corner. Dundee was very upset even before the fight. He asked me, Joel, I don't want you to go without me to the fight. But he also understands that it might have been my last fight for the year. So we've spoken. I'm down here training without him as well because they're going to come down right now. But they're giving me what they want me to do. I'm organising my sparring, and they're going to fly down beforehand. So they said, man, Joel, on your best day, you can beat anyone in the world. You can still be a world champion. But Dundee says, you have to trust in me. I want you to start doing your sprints, doing what I tell you, and just listen to me for this one fight, and then we'll go from there.
100%, man, because we've got a lot of big shows coming out next year, man. No Limit's got one early on. Looks like George might be bringing down the belt, defending it here in Australia. It's the best time for Australian boxing to showcase their talent. And with the hunger, determination in yourself, your activity, man, it's activity because the people know you. You know, you come they're all headbutting and they're all doing what you're telling them. It's trending, bro. So it's just keeping healthy, keep going, and, mate, sky's the limit. We're going to win a world title.
Nah, I'll do it, man. I know for a fact, and I've got some great support. The thing is, like in Melbourne, this fight, if I didn't sell tickets to this fight, I couldn't make it happen. Otherwise, I'd lose, promoter would lose. In Brisbane, I sell a lot of tickets. And all these promoters are hitting up my manager now saying, oh, Joel, you know, he's got another fight coming up. Congrats, blah, blah, this, that. And they all wanted to get involved because they know it's business. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to like each other. I'm going to sell tickets in Melbourne, in Brisbane, no matter where I go. So I can afford to fly an opponent down, put a title fight on, and it's going to cost the promoter nothing. So that's a massive advantage. So big thanks to all my supporters.
Yeah, talk to us about the supporters and the people on board, because a lot of people they underestimate the pull that they have when supporting a fighter. Talk to us about how beneficial it is to you, sponsors, and the butts on seats, because that means you're fighting more, your activities more, and there's more opportunities for yourself and for the audience to watch you go.
Well, you know, I don't need to take unnecessary fights because my sponsors pay me well. I'm on a good wage. You know, they fund my living. It's amazing. And I obviously do my best to promote them. So first of all, sponsors, without them, I couldn't do what I'm doing. I couldn't commit 100%, you know, like doing what I'm doing, coming to Melbourne, doing this, flying there, training there. Then the supporters, as I said as well, the supporters like buying tickets. If you are not signed with a promoter or a manager, the promoters don't want to put you on their cards because they're like, I'm going to put you on my card, you're going to win a title, then you're going to take that title to someone else's promotion. What's in it for me? But I go to the promoter and I say, listen, I want this much money. My opponent's going to be worth this much. It's going to cost, say, 30K all up. I've got to sell this many tickets to cover the fight. It's going to cost you nothing. When we all the profits, we split a certain amount after I'm paid my purse. So they look at it like, going to lose no money, going to make money, going to have a good fight like Joel on there, and another, you know, with a good opponent. The crowd's going to be wrapped. It's a good show. Why not? You know what I mean?
No, 100%, man. And I love the T-shirts that came out in the last fight. Cracker. Now, how's your mum after the fight? Oh, is she still on board with the shirts or what?
Who's that?
Your mum. You know, she's messaging you, change the design. I know what's going on. What's going on there?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, she didn't like that bloody head in the back of the T-shirt, but I loved it, man. That's my mum, man. She's different. But everyone loved it, and we released them, so they're all good. Got my new Cama KO T-shirts too, but just going to keep bringing out new tees, man. Just it's so good to see supporters walking around wearing your T-shirts, man. It's just a great feeling.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine it, bro. Like in America and the States, the shirts and the sales and the shirts are big, man. Look, someone like Brendan Sharp and all the podcasters there, they're selling their shirts, and the revenue they make is crazy because they design and sell exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, it's great.
No, it is, man. And how's the family after the fight, man? Any talks? Very much get back on the bandwagon. We know what you got to do. Let's get forward.
My parents are opposite, man. That's why they support me a lot, but I don't like. I'm the kind of person that believes in myself a lot. Where my parents are real, like, kind of like, they believe in me, but they're real like, oh, you got to watch out for that, and then watch out for this, and I hate that, man. Don't. If anyone brings any doubt in my room, get away from me. I want to see it. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, why are you fighting again? You know, what are you doing? What are you rushing for? So they're kind of like, oh, you know, trying to look out for me as parents try to do. But I'm 31. I've been in this sport for a long time, and to me, finishing the year on that stupid decision, just I couldn't live with it. I wouldn't enjoy Christmas. I wouldn't enjoy New Year's. I wouldn't enjoy the rest of my year. So I got another fight to get a win and to finish the year on a high, you know?
Yeah, look, it's interesting there. I'd like you to give us an insight into your thinking, because a lot of the time fighters need that honesty and they need that support and they need those people. It doesn't have to be family. It could be coaches. It could be people, mentors, people in the game to understand, right? But also a lot of athletes and a lot of people struggle with the doubt that people creep in. And usually it's the closest people to you that do that. As an athlete, because you've been doing it for a long time, and this is important and it could be beneficial to a lot of up-and-coming athletes or even people in any walks of life, whether you may be studying in university or at your HSC level or in any industry trade. How do you block that noise, allow that noise in? How do you deal with that? Because I could only imagine you're on TV, you're all over the place. Everyone would want to have a say in what you should be doing.
First of all, I'm a Leo, man. I'm a real stubborn kind of person that believes I'm the king. That's just how I've been brought up. I don't fear nothing. I believe in myself since a kid. I've never been dropped in my life. I've always been that kid who I've been hit by cricket bats before, man. I don't move. I'm like I can't show emotion. And when I say I'm stubborn, going back to your question, it's like I don't listen to people who haven't been there themselves. So, for example, my parents, no offense to my parents, but how many boxing fights have they had? How many big shows have they fought on? You know what I mean? Like, I love my parents for caring. I love everyone else for caring, sending me messages, Joel, you got to do this, you got to punch harder, you got to do this. But to me, I respect people who have done what I'm about to do, what they're telling me to do. So when Paul Briggs sits with me and says, Joel, you've got to do that, I take everything on board and respect it. When someone on Facebook who just sits on their couch watching TV sends me a message, I appreciate them for caring, but I don't care. If they say, Joel, you fought shit, your jab was shit, your right hand was shit, you got bad head movement, whatever. I look at them, I'm like, you've never fought in your life. You had 5 pro fights or something like that, and you lost 4 of them. Like, I'm not going to respect you. And you can call that selfish, you can call it ignorant, you can call it arrogant, but I'm a big believer. If you haven't done something, it's like me going to a woman and saying, man, you pushed out that baby wrong. You meant to breathe more. You meant to breathe more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't tell me how to box if you haven't boxed before.
100%, man. And a lot of people don't understand that. And especially younger athletes, younger people who are unsure of themselves, the doubt creeps in, man. And they stop believing in themselves and they run away and don't actualize their potential. I think it's important, like you said, man, you got to listen to the industry professionals, people who have been there, done that. Because life is too short to learn from your own mistakes. You'd rather learn from someone else's and grow that way. But you got to be taking it from the right person. Because, you know, there's reasons why in university there's peer-reviewed papers and there's Wikipedia. There's a difference between the two. Someone's been there, done that, and someone doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter what you do in life, man. There's always going to be haters, people with opinions, and the amount of inbox messages, comments, and whatever else, I get abused doing this, but there's good messages. Like, if you want to be a pro athlete, if you want to be in the spotlight doing whatever you're doing, you've got to know how to take criticism and abuse and some, oh, mate, it's harassment, whatever you want to call it. Like, if you can't take it, then go work a 9-to-5 job away from the cameras.
100%, man. One of my uncles who's very big on deep philosophy, gives you a life lesson, one-liners and runs away, doesn't explain it to you. He'll tell you, if life was a fairy tale, it would be in a novel. And then if you ask him any questions, he'll run away. But it's so true, because everything you said, it's part of life, mate. It's a reality. It's things that happen. People don't prepare you for that, though. They come with the notion everything's all good and rosy, credit card lifestyle. My life is perfect. I grew up perfect. You know what I mean? It's like, be humble, bro. Everyone has ups and downs. It's about how you come back. You know?
Mindset's huge. Mindset's huge in anything you do. You know, if I listen to everyone right now, I'd be working school teaching, maybe doing some PTs on the side. But I'm living a great life, doing what I want to do. I got a title fight coming up still. Since I got told to retire last, I've won 3 fights in a row. Well, my last one I lost, which should be 4 fights in a row. And now I've got a title fight, and I've got a big announcement end of year as well. I've got a trip possibly I'm going somewhere, so I'll announce that soon.
Hey, 100%, man. That's the thing. You got to keep the viewers and everyone on their toes, man, because you're making big moves, you know, and the people want to know. It's amazing when people jump on board. Talk to us about the bandwagoners, man. I couldn't imagine yourself. Who are all these people that weren't there and all of a sudden the yes people start coming?
They're everywhere, man. After my fight with Tim Zoo when I lost, I swear I had no friends left. I had friends, like, you know, but I'm saying, like, everyone who's watching that fight at the bars, at the pubs, everyone's saying they're my best mates and they've known me for years, they all left. And you know what? Excuse my French, but my rule in life is fuck everyone. You know, that's my French, man. You can beep it out, but that's what I believe. And it's nothing against people close to me, but it's like, don't rely on nobody. As rude as it sounds, it's don't worry about everyone. He'll say that, he'll say that, he'll say that. But if you don't believe it yourself, don't worry about it.
100%, bro. Like, I put myself into this and make it a bit more personal. When I decided to do the podcast, I've been talking about it when I was at school. Everyone's like, what are you doing? Who are you? No one's going to listen to you. You're going to get 4 viewers. It wasn't like that. They got 4 spastics are going to watch it. Nonetheless, and at the start, it was a community podcast to get, you know, just to give some service back and to bring to light issues that I feel that are important, give away positivity. My platform's all about showing people the other side, the reality of life. It's not about being in the limelight or just being, oh, I'm Joel, I know Joel. No, it's what Joel doing. How can you learn from Joel and how can you implement it in your life and not sit down and play the victim?
Yeah.
Everyone I approached rejected me. And then I went, you know what? It doesn't have to be community. Let me go to the next level. I went Jamie Soward, Volkanovski, Damian Brown, Shane Flanagan. Everyone wanted to come on. I'm like, oh, now you know me. I go, geez.
That's it, yeah.
You didn't give me a rep about 3 months ago, and now I'm all of a sudden the bloke that was your neighbour.
But you know what? I look at it 2 ways. I look at it 2 ways. When after I win a fight, people jump on board and they're bandwagoners. But at the same time, jump on the bandwagon. Come to my fight. Support me for 2 fights. Then get off. Others jump on board. So these bandwagoners, man, they should help support my career. So good luck to them.
No, 100%, man. And they need it. At the end of the day, if you come on board, it's never too late to join the crew, because at the end of the day, if I can give you something, I'll give it to you. You know, but what's interesting with yourself and a lot of people at your level, you're not defined or you're not bothered by these people. And that's why you're where you're at.
Yeah, you can't take offense, man. Just, it's part of life. I think the biggest piece of advice you can give to everyone, man, don't about what's being said. As I said before, if you don't believe it yourself, or if you don't believe in yourself, then you're in trouble. If you get a fight, one thing I say to people, forget about boxing. If you get offended by what someone says about you, then there's something about that or they said that you believe. If they say you're ugly and you got a bloody broken ugly nose, and you start getting offended by it, then that's an insecurity of yours. So you kind of believe in it too.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's something I think because it's called the spotlight effect. When someone's wearing, say, a pink shirt, for instance, he's now perceiving himself in the community. Everyone's looking at me now because I'm wearing the pink shirt. Where in reality, no one's actually looking at it. That's happening, the noise in your own head. So, you know, I dropped out of psychology after a year, and that was the only thing I learned. You know, they went into science and all these, you have to do quantitative and qualitative research. I'm like, bro, I just want to know how the mind works. That's not for me. Next.
Exactly.
No, 100%, man. So we're finishing off the year. Big show. Sam Laguna, you know, you've had a lot to do with that gym, a lot to do with him. Yourself, your manager are there. We're fighting for a title, for gold. Tell us what's to come, what's to expect. How's the next couple of weeks looking for you? And what are you doing afterwards?
Well, the next couple of weeks is about finishing the preparation. So maybe 4 more sparring sessions starting tomorrow. Just getting in shape, sharpening up, getting to my fight weight. You know, winning the belt. After I win the belt, I'm off somewhere, which I'll announce soon. Can't announce it just yet. And then from there, we're going to try to lock in a fight maybe around February or March to defend my title. So I see myself in 6 months' time in the top 15 ratings of WBA. That's my short-term goal, and it's going to happen.
Hey, that's the way, brother. Onwards and upwards. Now, you know, I know you're confident. We need a prediction for you. How's things going down in December 17th, if I'm not mistaken? How's it going down, bro?
I'll be calling the 3rd round stoppage, man. I'm gonna I'm going to put the pressure on a bit different this fight. I'm going to use my movement, put the pressure on, work the body. I believe that I'm going to hit him for body shot, and he's going to go down for body shot 3rd round.
No, mate, we heard it here first, guys. 3rd round body shot. But when I was watching the fight, I got to tell you, you watch any Dominic Cruz, or your movement's very similar.
Yeah.
I thought, man, Joel, Dominic, who am I watching? In and out, tapping, moving around.
I'll try to be unique, but Dominic Cruz is a good fighter, so I'll take that.
No, man, the movement, I'm telling you, man, I believe you had his number. I don't think it was close. If you thought that you were on the other side of the decision, you thought Teofimo won today, one of those judges, gee whiz, he might as well have been in Sydney that night. Exactly
right. It's sad, but it's part of boxing, and I've chosen to be a part of boxing too, so I've got to deal with those kind of things too.
100%, mate. Joel Cama KO Camilleri. Wait. Let me go again.
Joel Cama KO Camilleri here.
Yeah, let me Joel Cama KO Camilleri here. Last comment for the people watching, bro.
Just want to say thanks for your support. December 17th, there's no live stream, so you can't tune in, but keep supporting me, and I'll be back after that in March. So make sure you jump on the bandwagon and keep supporting.
Hey, that's the way, guys. Here's the man. I don't know what I am.
Thanks.